Why, hello to you. We have ourselves the leak of the century. Somebody leaked the full user manual for the new Canon full-frame mirrorless, and we're gonna look at it. It looks legit, unless somebody spent literally days making all this shit up. Like, this is it. Let's dive into it.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So they're calling this the Canon EOS R, and let's just face reality here. It's the Canon R. Nobody pronounces the first bunch of bullshit. Every camera comes out like the Sony DSX LX15 and then X3000. Like the one I have, my Sony X3000 is like the DSC X3. Like, shut up. Give me just a couple numbers, one letter and a couple numbers. Get over yourself. So the Canon R, I don't know, like what, they hire a pirate to come up with the Canon R. It's like, what are you guys doing? It doesn't even look cool. R is not even a cool letter. It's like, give me the Canon X15. That sucked. Shit, I'm fired. So I want to go through this user manual. It has basically all the specs. Some are shocking, some are like, yeah, cool. And some are like, shit, you almost had it. But I'll tell you at the end of this video if I'm gonna buy this thing or not. We might be. So I'm just gonna go over the most noteworthy points. So the first thing is, it's a new mount for sure, the RF mount. So we'll talk about the lenses soon, which are kind of cool. Why did I do that? And it looks like you can adapt EF and EFS lenses, but not the EFM lenses, which suck anyway. They should destroy that whole shit. That whole system needs to be burned in a volcano. So the RF mount stands for really fat mount. It's an obese mount. Canon needs to go on a diet, but they don't want to. They like donuts. They add donuts to their pasta. Okay, we're moving along. We got a 30 megapixel sensor. I don't think you need it. I kind of appreciate the 12 of the A7S line. You don't need that much detail in the face. So I notice people just look so ugly when you film with like the Sony A7R 3. It's just like so much detail. I like that you can crop in, but not on the face. If you're shooting out there, yeah, go look at that, but not my face. There is a low pass filter, so you're gonna want to pass high if you, I don't know what a low pass filter does. Is that the one that helps with moire, but then it makes the image slightly softer? I don't mind a soft image for the face. Beauty cameras, soft, good. So now things are starting to get interesting here. Talking about the focus with the dual pixel autofocus. I don't understand this, but maybe you can understand it for me. Magnified view possible by approximately 5 or 10 times. So you can tap into zoom, magnify to focus, but then it says for manual focusing, not possible during movie shooting. That could suck. Not that, if you're using the autofocus, you probably don't need it. But for manual, I hate that I can't do that with my lens. I can't even do that. I think maybe the GH5 can do it, but it'd be nice to punch in during video when I'm filming something else and then I change focus. It's tough to tell. It's tough to tell, help. Okay, now this is what really matters. It appears that they have all eye compression, not just the IPB, which means for people who don't know what the hell that is, you can take a video and then compress it and it'll be a smaller file size, and that's nice to work with, but it'll look like shit. So they have both options. You can get the full version, all eye, all of it is what it stands for, and then you can shrink it to, I pissed off Batman when I filmed him and I couldn't even get all the resolution. So what's interesting about that though, it looks like Canon's gonna be the master of all video. If this is accurate, their 4K 30 frames per second is going to be 480 megabytes per second at the high end. That's like, holy shit, Bill. Even their low end is 120. That's more than Sony, I think. Sony's 100. Losers. At the highest quality though, like the file sizes are insane. The 4K 480 megabyte per second mode is 3,400 megabytes per minute. If you film for 10 minutes, that's like 100 megabytes. It's a lot. So, I have to get a new hard drive. Their 1080p 60 frames per second can do 180 megabytes per second. That's huge. I mean, right now we're filming at like 25 megabytes per second. It's crap. It's shit. This is gonna blow stuff away with a horn. But that was the biggest problem with the Canon 6D2. It only gave you the compressed form. It didn't give you as good as it's got. It didn't give you everything. And you could tell, especially if you're filming like grass or trees, it's like smartphone level of detail. Like it looked pretty horrible, but that doesn't really matter for the face. So filming yourself, it's a pretty decent thing, but this is gonna take it up to the next level. Canon 6D2 usability with the flip out screen, it's got one. It's got a flippy screen. We got a full frame flippy screener. So that's exciting. Only it will actually be higher quality. Now the downside, slightly upside, we do have 120 frames per second mode, but it's in 720p. That's disappointing. I was hoping for a 1080p slow motion, but we don't got it. And we don't know, like the Canon M50 has this, but it doesn't autofocus during it, and there's no sound. So it's kind of a crippled mode. I like the Sony, like even my little Sony X3000 can film 120 frames per second in 1080p with full volume. And there is no autofocus, everything's just always in focus. But it's just like, it's amazing. So if you ever get something, sometimes I've shot things where I'm filming a lizard and then I shout in fear and it gets my voice and it's like, oh no. That's funny to have the sound. So this, we won't be able to have the sound. That is disappointing. And it's only 720p and it likely will not have autofocus during it or sound probably. So that is kind of disappointing. We do have the 30-minute recording limit. So they did cripple that. I don't know how Panasonic gets around that. The G85 can go forever. I could just keep recording this thing. What are we at? We're at like 17 minutes. I made so many cuts. Oh my God, this is like 4 minutes of material. My brain doesn't work, help me. But I could go on for like 40 minutes and we're good. I don't have to stop. But making videos with this new Canon, that thing's just gonna stop randomly, mid-sentence probably. I'm like, ah, shit. And I gotta go start it again. I have to get up, and then I'll be in a different focus spot. Am I even in focus? Now, one weird little glitch in the matrix here. You can record past 4 gigabytes. That used to be a problem, I think, with Canon. They'd stop at 4 gigabytes. But you can record for 30 minutes straight, even though it's more than 4 gigabytes per file, but they'll seamlessly go together. But it will not record audio for the last 2 frames. And that's just so stupid. Then it's not seamless. The Panasonic has the same issue if you shoot in the AVC HD format, I believe. I worked around it finally. It doesn't happen in MP4. It just records seamlessly for hours. But in the AVC HD, which is higher quality, I think, it just does a weird skip. You can see it. Sometimes the video glitches when the seams split together. So this is gonna have that problem. That's unfortunate. And what the hell is this? When you play back movies on Windows, movie images and sound may become slightly out of synchronization. That would be terrible. That would be a deal breaker. So I hope that doesn't mean like every clip, no matter what, yeah, we can't really line up the audio and visual components they do. Like that's the most annoying thing about video editing. If you record sound separately and you have to sync it, but some devices record things differently. When I record in Adobe Audition, with my dynamic mic and sync it up to the camera, it does not line up. It's messed up. But recording into the Zoom H1 never had a problem. So that's a nightmare. And looks like in camera, it just goes out of sync. They don't even get along, their own components. They're like, fuck you guys. No. I'm researching so hard right now. The battery pack is the Canon LPE6N. Which camera does that go into is what we're finding out right now in real time. And it will use the same camera, same battery as the 7D Mark II, the 5D, everything. 7D Mark II. So it has the 7D Mark II, 5D Mark IV battery, which I think is really good. And maybe it'll last even longer on mirrorless, or will it not last? I don't know. It sounds like a good battery. They're putting in a good battery. And you can get a AC adapter plus DC coupler, and then AC power is possible. That is cool. So the final spec here is the weight with the battery and SD card is 660 grams, which also says they're not putting in a CFast card, or the loser card that Nikon put in. You losers. 660 grams. That's pretty light. What's the Sony? Isn't it like 600? It's researching so hard right now. The A7 III is 650 grams, so just 10 grams heavier and just 155 grams heavier than the Panasonic G85. So we're talking light camera here. It's a light camera for a full frame camera. I'm impressed. I am impressed. Now let's talk about the lenses. Oh no, my laptop fan turned on. It boosted into overdrive with all the research I gave it. I'm so sorry. Calm down, little Nelly. Calm down. So let's talk a little bit about the 4 lenses that they've announced. First, we have the 28 to 70 f2, which there's nothing really on the market right now that can claim that f2 and that zoom range. That's pretty phenomenal. It really is, but I hate that they bumped up the wide end to 28. We need at least that 24. I'd rather you push it back to 20. Give me a 20 to 65 or something. Make that happen. It's a heavy lens, 1,430 grams. It's got some heft to it. It's eating a couple pasta meals too past its prime, I'll tell you that much. A little Primavera on that, you know. So, I don't know. It seems like a decent lens, like a really good lens. I hate that it's 28. That's smartphone length. It's like it's not. It'll be okay for this kind of video, but vlogging, forget that. Be a heavy lens anyway for vlogging. The 51.2. I mean, a lot of people are gonna love that lens. Do we need a 1.2? I don't think so. I have a f/0.95 lens right now. I'm always shooting that at f2, which is an f4 equivalent. Like, the depth of field is too tiny. I can't even make it work. I'm tired of just my left ear being in focus. So it's like an f1.2, but with the autofocus, I just feel even with the autofocus dual pixel, it might struggle. It might not, but that'd be a beautiful professional looking lens for this style video, because this is a 50mm equivalent, but 1.2, wow. I mean, we're at f4 right now. I'll show you f/0.95 just for the sake of it. This is f/0.95. I don't really have anything in the background to blur. Maybe the laptop blurred a bit, and I might not even be in focus anymore. I don't know. It's impossible. So it's not even fun anymore. The lower blurry shit. I've been underexposed the whole time. Oh God. Can you see me? They have a 35mm 1.8 macro image stabilizer lens. 305 grams? That sounds interesting. I think that would be the perfect this style video lens. I could have that camera a little closer and do macro. I could take pictures of my iris and see all my diseases in my body. That'd be amazing. And it's pretty lightweight. I don't know about vlogging this, too far. It's too far. If I'm being 100% honest with you, like none of these lenses really do it for me. Not one of them so far. There's not one that I would like buy instantly so far. What's the fourth one? The 24 to 105 f4? Potentially. It's 700 grams. But it does come with the kit, so it would be cheaper to buy it with the kit. I think I would get that just to start off. 24, like when I'm vlogging out in the street with my Sony X3000, I love that wide angle. It's a 17mm equivalent, and I love that so much. But when I see something and I go to shoot it, you can't see it because it's so wide. Everything looks so tiny. It's like it's so far away you can't see anything. And I start to wonder, vlogging, my style of what I like to do, because I like to just notice things. Oh, what's funny or what's cool? Oh, look at that bird. I think a zoom lens would really help in that situation. So that might be a decent vlogging lens. It's a little heavy, 700 plus 660. I could do that in my head. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now. 1,360 grams. That's a bit much. That's a bit much. My Panasonic gets heavy at like 700-ish. So we're pushing it. That's double. That would build some Herculean arms. But I don't know. So that's about it. That's about it. It's an exciting camera. I'm waiting for better lenses. I want a wide angle. I want a 16 to 35. F4, I'd possibly. I still debate so much on the lenses. What would I get? I think a 24mm 1.4 would be amazing, but then it just wouldn't be wide enough for vlogging, and that would piss me off. And then I'd get the 16 to 35 f4 with stabilization. Speaking of stabilization, I didn't see it, did you? I didn't see in-body stabilization. So I don't think they're gonna have it. They might have the digital stabilization, which is okay, but I think some of these, the 24 to 105 has it, the 35 has it, the 50 doesn't, the 28 to 70 doesn't. So, in my opinion, the IBIS can look weird sometimes. This Panasonic with a super wide angle lens looks weird. It's wobbly and shit in the corners. It doesn't look right. That's why I never got the Laowa 7.5mm. It's like it just doesn't look right. It's warpy and shit. I just noticed that we're past 35 minutes and it was seamlessly recorded thanks to Panasonic. And they also have one coming. We'll make another video on that. Panasonic full frame, that might outdo everybody. But right now it's a Canon and Sony race. And what I was gonna say is in-lens stabilization coupled with digital might be fantastic. I think it might be. It looks more natural to me, the lens stabilization, even though it's not as stable. It looks more natural, and that might be better. Cut the tape. So I think that's about it for today. We're in a new location here. It's funny because my main channel is Vegetable Police, as you can see here. And all my videos come out like 2 weeks in advance. Like that's my main channel. I do 4 videos a week over there and usually just like 1 here. But these ones are all recent. Like I pretty much do these a couple days before, edit it quick and then release it because I like to talk about recent things, new releases and stuff. So it's just funny that I'm gonna have like 2 weeks of videos from me back in Chiang Mai, and I'm here in a secret location on the Camera Conspiracies network. And you get to come along with me. But you won't know where I am unless you go watch those videos. So consider doing that. And I think we're done here for today. Pre-order link is not down below, so I will be making 0 money today. That's okay. I'll find food. They throw it out, the restaurants at night. So we're done. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.